Welcome everyone. Today we'll have two special tricks and tips to help you with doing extra damage and perhaps one-shotting enemies. We'll be looking at two different tricks and tips today. The first one is the multi-stack plunge attack. This is when your character is in mid-air and you perform the attack button with the right click of the mouse. For this particular attack, it is fun to try and it is not an in-game mechanics, so keep in mind we do not want to abuse it in case the developers see it as abnormal data, but it's very fun to try. I don't think it's doable to abuse it too much, so it's good to know about it. The second part of the tip and the trick is a one-shot kill combo. This is an in-game mechanics. We can perform this multiple times. I'll show you guys the replay for both. So hitting enemies into deep water and also hitting enemies off high cliff can instantly kill them with one shot. Our first trick came from the Reddit post, the 4 plunge attack, and basically we do spam the character rotation before we hit the ground, and this allows you to do multiple plunge attack while you're in the air. In order to demonstrate this, let's have a look what a normal plunge attack looks like. While in the mid-air, if you press the attack button, you'll land, you hit down, and you attack the enemies with a special attack modifier. Each character have an attack animation as well, and they have different attack modifiers. If you want to know the details of your plunge attack for the character, come over here for the character plunge attack. And you can see over here the plunge attack damage with low and high damage is about 100 to 140% with your character's base attack. So it is slightly higher than just normal attacking the enemies. Now let's have a look what happens when we do the multi-plunge attack trick. So you can see as I slam the ground, I'm going to spam to rotate a different character and I'll be in mid-air as I land on the ground. The higher we are above the ground, the more likely we can spam this multiple times. And if we're high enough on the ground, we can spam this or stack this damage infinitely. But the downside is the monster has to be under us. And also, keep in mind guys, this is not an in-game mechanics. So the developer did not intentionally make this. What happened is, the game's kind of resyncing, especially with a higher ping sometimes, the game resyncs you by putting yourself like 1 second before where you're at with the character, or maybe 0.5 of a second as you swap the characters, and this allows you to do the multi-plunge attack as the game takes you back into mid-air. To demonstrate this more, so I'm gonna land on a little higher ground. I'll show you guys more of this. So basically I'm rotating each of my characters, and notice I'm appearing above the ground because it takes your character back 1 second before. And if you spam this multiple times, effectively you can chair a monster to death if they're just right under you. And here we have the replay to show you how to instant kill a monster, and this can be an elite monster as well. Over here you can see me just fighting monsters to defeat all of the monsters from the Resin of the flower, and I'm doing this for the dailies. If you haven't seen our previous video about missing out the 2 important tips, so what I'm doing is I'm fighting the leyline deposit over here in my replay, and each time I fight them, I open the leylines, I fight them, but I don't spend the resins, and this allows me to finish my weekly quest with the battle pass without having to spend any resins for the 20 times challenge. So if you haven't seen that video, definitely check it out. Now coming back to the fights, some of the monsters from the spawns of the Resin of the leyline do come with an elite. Most of the common elite or the mini bosses is gonna be this electric mage. This mage is very durable. I'm estimating at least 30,000 or 20,000 HP, and it usually takes a while because he blinks around. But if you use the environment to your advantage, over here what you're gonna see is I'm trying to hit her, and you can see 2,000 damage did not do much to her. But the moment you hit her into deep water, it can't be shallow water, because in the shallow water you can walk around and run around. In the deep water, monsters cannot swim, and this one shot kills her. It also spawns her loots of her items not in deep water but right in front of me. Keep in mind this has to be deep water. It doesn't work on the shallow water. So you do have to time yourself correctly with characters that allows for maneuverability or characters that allows for crowd control. You can do that. Jin can do that with her E, the Traveler can do that with his ultimate burst, and there's a few other characters that can move the characters around as you go. And similarly, same as us taking 4 damage as we fall down from a high cliff, the monster will also take a percentage damage based on HP as they fall down from a cliff. And if you manage this correctly, you can almost one-shot any of the monsters that can be pushed over. Keep in mind there is a flaw to this, because if you push them off and you want the loot, you have to go down with them to get the loot. And if they do not die from falling, and it happens to be like a treasure chest that's guarded by them, you have to wait for them to respawn back onto the ground, and they respawn with full HP, or you have to go down and kill them and climb back up. So this can be a little dilemma that kind of backfires. I'll show you the 4 damage. So basically, everyone takes 4 damage, and if you fall from a high place, you'll take damage. And I just died. did not expect that. But yeah, this is demonstrated. The monsters do take the same damage mechanics as us do, and well, you know, it's physics. If you fall hard enough, you die. And this is quite easy to duplicate, but a little harder to execute simply because sometimes the monsters don't die, and other times, you know, they die, but you can't get the item. You have to go down with them, right? So hopefully you guys found those 2 tips helpful, and be aware guys, I want to warn you guys again, the first one is not intended in the game, the second one is intended in the game. So use the first one to try it out for fun and to show off with your friends, like check it out, multiple stacks of attacks, infinite stacks. But the second one is definitely something to help you, to instantly killing monsters that can be controlled, and this can faster the pace of your fight and do a lot more for you. And if you do come across tips and guides like similar to this one, let me know on Discord and I can share with everyone as well as we go further in the game. As always, a big thank you to the Reddit poster who actually shared this one, and also a thank you to SoloQ who also mentioned about the spam of the falling with me. And initially I didn't aware how fun it can be, but it's pretty fun after I tried it, so I decided to share it with you guys on this video. Now, if you found this video helpful, make sure you subscribe and also turn the little bell on for the latest news. I'll be looking towards to make more builds, guides, tips, and news and event updates for us as we come further into the game. And as always, I wish you guys the best of luck with Genshin and have the most fun in exploring this wonderful world.